All right, now I'm going to go on to discuss a rule that is meant to make deals stick. It's meant to so that when you get somebody in for a repair, when you get somebody in to buy something, when you get a customer that wants to spend $100,000 on a regular basis buying a bunch of screens from you, that you create a deal that sticks so that they don't go away to another supplier, so that they don't call you while you're in the middle of their board repair and say, I don't really want it done anymore, so that you don't have a customer who's picking something up fixed that kind of regrets having it done. Because when you have people with that sour taste in their mouth, the deals don't stick. They change their mind. It creates misery for you. And if you're dealing in a usual sales environment, if you're like me and you actually spend 45 minutes working in health insurance sales or any type of insurance sales, you're going to be used to having managers that are like, you need to close the deal. You need to close the deal. You need to learn how to get people to say yes. So, did you close the deal? Like, these are the same dudes that are like drinking at the college fraternity asking, did you close the deal with Melissa last night? Yeah, you closed the deal. Those people are douchebags. In real life, they never get the girl, and in real life, they never get the sale. The reason is because they are focused on an outcome. You should not be focused on things that you can't control. You can't actually control whether or not somebody does business with you. And furthermore, you cannot get somebody to come to a decision by badgering them over and over again. You may get them to the decision like right now, where like you push them and you push them and you push them, but the second you're done pushing that person who made the decision because they were weak-willed at the time or because they gave in against their better judgment, that's going to change. And they're going to change their mind later, and they're not going to be happy. And they're going to leave a one-star review. And they're going to pick at every little thing. Have you ever had a customer come to pick something up who just looks over every little part of their device and notices all the flaws with it that had nothing to do with you? Have you ever had a customer pick something up and be pissed off that there's dents in it, when those dents were not dents that were caused by you? Who's pissed off that their phone is slow, and that slowness is because they're running iOS 7 on a GOSM iPhone 4, and it's because they didn't want it to begin with. And one of the things that you need to do, again, because a lot of the times these people will say yes anyway, you need to root that out of them. Because again, in many cases, people will say yes anyway. Let me repeat this. In many cases, people will say yes anyway, even when you talk them out of something. The only difference is that when you're on the same page with it, they're going to be happy at the end of it with what you've given them, instead of mad at all this little shit, instead of feeling worried and, and all like phobic about all this little crap that they like it's running slow, it's old, it's dented, I got ripped off. You want to avoid all that crap. And one of the ways you avoid that is by giving people, I would say, between 2 to 4 opportunities to say, I don't want this. So let's go back to the situation with the MacBook Air. She wanted to give it to me after I told her how it could fail. She wanted to give me that machine after I told her, you could use LinkedIn easily on your cell phone. Here's a great application to edit Word documents on your cell phone. The idea of doing that made her sick. So she wanted to leave it here. So I told her a couple of times because she was wishy-washy. She was about to walk out of the store, come back, walk out of the store, come back. And let me tell you, when somebody leaves something with me, they're not calling me halfway through the repair. They're not calling me while I'm taking the T5 screws out of the motherboard to say, I changed my mind, I don't want it done. That never happens here. The reason is because I don't talk people into shit. I talk people out of shit. I talk people into saying no, so that if they are going to say no, they are going to say no before I start. But they came here for a reason, and I get them to remember that reason while I'm talking them out of it. Let's talk about this a little. I told her, are you sure you really want to have this done? Yes. Okay. And she signs this form, and I'm like, you know what? You could have this done at the point of failure or when it starts messing up on you, and it's going to be the same price then as it is now. So are you sure you want to leave it here? And yes. Okay. Okay, just last chance again. It still works. I'm turning it on. See an Apple logo. It's chiming. Sure you want to leave it here? Yes. So I gave this person 3 chances to say, no, I don't want this done. What that does is it creates a deal that sticks. When you don't do this, when you talk to them, you really should get it repaired. It's about to die. It's about to die. You spilled something on it. It's about to die. You don't want to lose your data, do you? You don't want to lose your crap, do you? You know what you're going to get? You're going to get a customer who says yes, then goes home, borrows their friend's computer as quickly as they can at Google, spill damage chances. And then they're going to read 100 posts. They're going to read 100 posts on the internet from people who said that their computer was fucked up after spill damage, but then they're going to read that 101st post that says, Oh, yeah, my computer worked fine after a spill. I mean, I just hair dried it a little bit, lasted 5 years. I didn't pay anybody. And because you tried so hard to convince them that that shit is true, they're going to believe that one post that says that what you said was complete bullshit, and they're going to call you and go, I think I'm going to live with it as is. I want to take it back. But if you try to talk them out of it, if you tell them it's probably fine, don't even worry about it, you shouldn't spend money here, and then they decide, not only are they going to decide to leave it here anyway, because they had a true pain point, they had a true stress point, they had a true vision of their own misery if this were to stop working. When they leave it here, they're not going to go home and be all paranoid about it. They're not going to be calling you every hour to ask and have follow-up questions on whether or not they should be doing this. They're not going to be home Googling it. They're not going to be home reading all your filtered Yelp reviews to figure out if you're a legitimate business. They're not going to be calling you while you're taking the T5 screws out of the motherboard to go, hey, how long is your warranty? Hey, are you Apple certified? Hey, I read this one review where somebody said that they fixed it and then they had an issue that was slightly unrelated and you told them to go fuck themselves. Is that true? You're not going to deal with that if you give them a chance to say no. And what a lot of bosses, what a lot of sales managers do, they will jump in front of you when you give people chances to say no. They will go, "What is wrong with you?" When I worked at another place, the guy would literally jump in, like, "Why are you scaring away the customers? She said yes. Why are you telling them to say no?" Like this guy, I'm not going to say his name. A couple of the people who work here used to work at this place. Actually, 3 of them did. And this guy would yell at me, literally yell at me, if I tried to have people say no, if I gave them a chance to say no before they left something here, and he truly didn't understand why that was. For 2 reasons. A, if they were truly going to have this done, if they were truly going to spend money on it, if their vision in their mind is I am spending money here, I'm not going to change that. All I'm going to do is reaffirm to them why they are doing it, and I'm going to get rid of all the paranoid crap, all the bullshit, all that this little mark wasn't here when I left it off, all the little reasons that they're coming up with in their head to not spend money. When people pick up a machine and they look over their 5-year-old computer for 30 minutes in your store before they leave, when they look over your phone for 30 minutes after you fix it and look at the back and look at like the pins in the charging port and go like the 3rd pin in the USB port was slightly aligned differently after you fixed it, it's not because you did something wrong on the repair. It's because you talked them into something where they were not sure they wanted, and now a part of their brain is being paranoid to try to talk them out of paying you for something that they may have not really wanted. What you have to do is you have to have them convince themselves that they really want it. You can't be the one to convince the customer that they really want something. You need to create the vision in their mind by asking them questions. And more importantly, you need to give them an opportunity to say no if they don't want something. And if they don't want something, they're going to call you to cancel it. They're not going to pay. They're going to come up with crap to not pay at the end of it. They're going to leave a bad review. They're going to file a chargeback. When you talk people into shit that they don't want, it will always end badly, even if they are a good person. But when you show that person that they actually want it, by giving them an opportunity to say no, you create a deal that sticks. You create a deal where you're not going to deal with renegotiating, with crap, with late payments, with paranoia when it comes time to pick up, because you gave them an opportunity to say no. And above all else, when you give people opportunities to say no regularly, instead of going, so you want it? So you ready? So you ready? You ready to sign the red dot? You're ready to sign the dotted line? You ready to sign the dotted line? When you don't act like a douchebag salesman, when you actually tell people, are you sure you want to do this? I want you to think about it a little bit. I have another repair I have to finish. Spend 5 or 10 minutes and think about whether you want to put the money into this because it is kind of old, and then come back to me and tell me what you feel like doing. When you do that, you give people confidence. You're not the dude who's trying to rip them off, and you also give them a chance to build a vision in their mind of why they want this to work. And there are a couple of good examples with this in terms of people who come in trying to bargain. And I actually use no as a bargaining chip. Let's say somebody comes in and they say, I spilled beer on my boyfriend's laptop. And I give them the pricing and I look at everything. I sum up it's a board repair, $250 or $325 or whatever for the board repair. And they're like, I don't really want to spend that. And instead of convincing them to do it, I go, well, I mean, this is your boyfriend's computer. It's not yours. So, I mean, I don't want to be selfish here, but you don't need it done. It's not even your computer. So, I mean, again, while it's mean and it's not maybe necessarily the right thing to do you really want the money coming out of your wallet when this is somebody else's anyway? I mean, how long, or I'll even get a little bit more direct. I'll be like, well, how long have you been, have you been seeing him long enough that you're going to cover accidental damage of his devices? And I'll see that there's like a ring on her finger. And I'll also see that when I booted up the computer and it's got all the lines in the screen, or it's like booting up with no backlight because the board is destroyed, I'll see that there's video editing software and there's all sorts of professional video editing software on it. So I know he's a video editor. So I know that he needs this thing every day. So I know he needs to make money. So I know that you have a real relationship. So what I've done is I've put that guilt trip on them by saying, no, it's to say no. I offer them an opportunity to say no. I offer them reasons to say no, and by offering that woman reasons to say no, I've reaffirmed to her that this is a valuable relationship. I've reaffirmed to her that she has fucked up something for somebody who is not only a valued relationship to her, but also somebody who is relying on this thing to make money that you have fucked up. And I'm not doing it by convincing them of anything. I'm not doing it by saying you really need to fix this so it'll work. You really need to fix this because they make money off of it. I'm doing it by pointing out why they shouldn't do it. And when I do that, it gets me the business. And again, you're not that high pressure salesperson. You don't have to deal with reverse bargaining. Really does work. When you give people chances to say no, you often actually get a yes, and you get a decision that sticks, that they're not going to change their mind on. When people come in thinking I'm going to convince them into doing something they don't want to do, they get their world turned around very, very quickly when I show them that, again, while I truly do want your business, while I value your business, while I care about your business, I am more than happy to give you an opportunity to say no at every avenue. I don't want you leaving something here if you don't feel comfortable. I don't want you buying parts for your school district from us if you don't feel comfortable. I'm not rushing to the close, and that's what helps me to be an effective salesperson.